Good evening and welcome to Pandemic Poetry here at the River Falls Public Library. Couple housekeeping things before we get going here. First of all, thanks everyone for coming out, and especially those who are here to actually read something, and to everyone who might be streaming this at home. I should say you probably want to get kind of close to the mic so it'll pick you up properly. Can everyone hear me at the moment? Okay. You do not need to have your mask on while you're actually reading, but we do recommend you wear it when you're not. If everyone could also have their phone silenced, that would be great. So we do only have about 6 people reading, but I guess in the interest of not monopolizing the evening, if you could maybe limit yourselves to about 5 or 10 minutes apiece. And I guess this is pandemic poetry, poems about, inspired by, or composed during the COVID-19 crisis. Feel free to introduce yourself or your poems, or just go ahead and read them, and we'll enjoy them. And our first person up is Romello.
I put myself down for number 3 on the list, but that's all right. That's how it is. I like this full disclosure, like the instrumental that I put behind my poetry. It's by a band called Frames from an album in Vita. It's called End of a Decade. Kind of fits the setting, if you ask me. And I'm also going to insert another poem at the end by a German author named Hermann Hesse, and the poem's called Stufen. He was a German poet, and I think his poem describes the pandemic kind of well too. So yeah, here we go.
The debate of covering our faces, it really has me contemplating. Why would Bill Gates be worshiping Satan when the country being fueled by hatred is a more basic of an answer? Don't ask me not to spread my cancer, it's really uncontrollable, almost unnoticeable. So don't hold your cards for ransom or you'll leave the story half untold. Pay the toll, not just any toll. Live and let the boulders roll. We'll come to find the naysayers underfold. The warmth is on the other side of the mountain. So be loving thy neighbor, for your veins run colder than an icy fountain. I can't speak for the children or the senior citizens, but the only thing I'm sick of is the cabin fever I'm breathing in. I'll court the favor with the social distancing, but forcing me to wear a mask, don't force a laugh. That is going deeper. If I can't play the fence, I'd rather not be sheep herd. On my defense, I don't need a shepherd. Color me a leopard. My scales will not teeter-totter from the tit-for-tat conversation they're throwing at us eagerly. This pandemic got us cooped up with the family. Now we're at each other's throats more than ever. For others, it's a fantasy, but I'll voluntarily forget the curfew to go enjoy whatever weather the elements decide to throw together. Is a pandemic really for the best? I know there were those gone in debt because they had to cut the check in half and disrupt anything salvageable if there was still anything left to have. Everything kept so close. Feels like it's eating me alive now. I gotta keep my head low and put my foot on down as I go through a purgatory called Pound Town. I let my actions perform the show. The show must go on, but I don't know how much longer I could take. I'll have to wait and see. All these controversies are a fallacy and a far cry from anything I want to be. After all, I'm just another subject in the American machine, so whitey shiny clean. I'll always have my stains by saying whatever comes to my brain. That's what we the people were built on, but you don't need my John Hancock. I'm just trying to walk the fine line between COVID conscientiousness and being spilled upon by a hasty vaccine entering my bloodstream. I got faith in herd immunity. It's nothing new to me. Like the brand new iPhone 2021 with software that can expose my nudity. I low-key wish you could see it for yourself, so you could look at you and you and you and finally be proud to be an unapologetic American, a specified man, or specimen, or specified woman, all the better for the health of the human consumer. Stooping by Herman Hesse, translated. Like every blossom withers, and every youth with age, every level of life flowers, every wisdom. And every virtue every time, and may not last forever. It must be the heart of every life call ready to say goodbye and new start. To engage in bravery and without warning another, to give new bonds. And every beginning is a magic who protects us and helps us to live. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I can't express my gratitude enough.
That was Develop.
Thank you.
And yeah, thanks for the music. I don't think we've had a number of open mic events here before, but I don't think anyone's ever had music in the background before.
It takes me back because back in school I used to for literature and I think for my history paper, I would do the essay in rap verse and I just rap to the class and read it up. Take me back.
And next up is Kim Cruz.
Good evening. I wasn't quite sure what the audience was going to be tonight. And I really thought maybe there'd be more kids here. Or kids at all. But anyway, I'm glad you're here and I'm glad I'm here. So let me make some other choices. Since we have adults, broadens the horizons a little bit. But even with that, let's see, we'll stay within bounds. Let me start off with, what can I say? I'm new to this area. I've been here for about 6 months. Most of my poems during this period have not been about the pandemic. There's some moments that connect to it, but a lot of them don't. What I find myself doing in writing poetry at all is trying to capture moments of experience, whether they be mine or someone else's, and get them on paper. First poem is called Your Cat Friend is Going to Be Leaving. Your cat friend is going to be leaving, came the voice from the darkness of the late dream on a Thursday morning. I thought it was my cat, Teresa Catherine. I could imagine her getting out of the house, back to the streets, into the neighborhood, back to wherever it was she came from. With reluctance, I began to prepare myself for her departure, and I took every measure to block any avenue of escape. Every door was clicked shut. Yes, the cat was sufficiently repressed. Housebound, yes, a prisoner, and yes, it did serve my needs best. But on Tuesday, I learned SK had died on Sunday. Silly Kitty, as he was known, a big white found cat from the mountains of North Carolina, brought home to live at the edge of civilization. I had kept his company now and then over the years when Rennie and Ed were off on an adventure. If in the evening I stretched out on the recliner, SK liked to stretch out on my chest and keep an eye on me. When he could no longer resist creeping closer, he would come right up into my face and lick my beard. We had a comfortable connection, always easy to refresh whenever the opportunity arose. I think I was not conscious enough of how special SK was to me. I should have known better. I should have been more aware. For he brought me the most unusual gift I've ever received. He brought me the face of a rabbit with the ears nibbled off, and left it on the doorstep welcome mat for me early on in our time together. "Your cat friend is going to be leaving," came the voice. I never imagined it was to be SK. It seems even a cat can be special enough to warrant a precognitive dream as a post-it note to announce his departure. Hallelujah. I would say I'm lament that I didn't bring other poems with me, but another time perhaps. Okay. This is a poem that does relate to the pandemic period. It's called Rise. A stern October wind blows, a foretaste of winter, flapping coats and tearing at my hat. A windy rise in the land amid farms and farmlands, with fewer and fewer woodlots. A small cardboard box, just the right size, carries my father's ashes from this world to another place. The box has been buried, and I have struck the bell 78 times, once for each year of his journey among us. The wind continues to blow hard and cold, and despite the bright sun of autumn, we pull our coats tightly around us and wait in cars until the minister arrives and all the family is assembled. And then we huddle in a semicircle like yaks to listen and hug each other and grieve with gasps, sniffles, tears, and sobs. From long ago, my mother's words come back to me. "Your father's family always dies in the autumn. I don't know why that is, but they always seem to die in the autumn." From behind the minister's black robe and outstretched arms, as if by some stroke of celestial magic, we watch as a large red-tailed hawk appears, rising in the distance, circling ever higher and higher, until finally out of sight. Oh, here's one we can try. This really pretty much relates to anytime, pandemic or no. This is called Saturday Morning. I've joined a pack of jackals today to scavenge the possessions of one who is dead and one dispossessed, and carted off to live in a nursing home because she can no longer care for herself in her own home. So others and I have been invited to pick over the remains. I feel like a thief or a cat burglar, invading a home and stealing off with possessions the owner may not be ready to part with. Or like a molester, fondling the curves of the finely crafted bedroom suit, smooth as silk, so carefully carved, fingering slowly the keys of the piano, softly playing a tune others should not hear. Dead or alive, the old ones are gone from the house, so I make my deals without giving them too much thought. I tear up my number, I pay the auctioneer's wife, I gather my carrion into my arms and slink away. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Next up is Linda. I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name. Is it Ida?
It's just I.
Ida, okay. Linda.
Reflections on the COVID pandemic by Linda Ide. Virus denial, confusion, and eventually global comprehension. Death toll reaction, and sometimes death toll rejection. Separation from family and friends, consternation and trepidation. Emotional and social deprivation. Life, work, and school complications. Isolation causing dissatisfaction and frustration. Apprehension and depression escalated with carbohydrate obsession. Hospital beds allocation. Sacrificed holiday traditions. Controversial immunizations, mass rationalizations, heated confrontations and intimidations, a fractured nation with differing opinions and sadly lost friendships and connections. Perhaps someday when there is eradication, then we'll have jubilation. Thank you.
Before we get to our next person here, local poet Thomas R. Smith was not able to be here tonight, but he graciously said I could read one of his poems. And this is actually from a new anthology called A 21st Century Plague, Poetry from a Pandemic. And we do have a copy here in the library. If you wanted to request it, you certainly can. Thomas has a couple selections in here, and I'm going to read one called The Long Summer. 19th of June, it's going to be a long summer. All of our seasonal celebrations canceled or gone virtual, homebound. The question becomes what to do with the space we confront when we turn away from our devices. Does our time explode or implode? There are abysses in the hours we take great pains to avoid, whole emotional Mariana trenches of memory and apprehension that can be worked around only by staying insanely busy. For some, this way indeed lies madness, spreading outward from the top like venom from a snake bite. But others, it's likely, may look back on this as the summer that stretched beyond the parentheses of Memorial Day and Labor Day to become a world unto itself in which we rediscovered and perhaps were able to keep for a while the riches of expanse and dreaming we'd so often and yearningly recalled but failed to grasp. Glimpse them as we might in the clouded playroom mirror of childhood. And next up is Kaylee Penn.
I found, like most of you, that one of the first things I missed was being with people, touching people, especially family. This one's called Distant. I longed to look at my grandson's face from 6 inches away and mash my cheek against his. I yearned to see my family close enough to smell their sweat, moisturizers, shampoo, to peer into the flowers of their eyes, blue, green, gray, brown blooms, to sit together on a couch, arms over shoulders, hands in hands, heating one another with our bodies, instead of this talking over each other on phones as we sit on cold couches miles and months away. And so as we were sitting on our couches, all alone in our rooms, so much going on in the world. Couldn't take it. This is called Smothered. The world has shrunk, shriveled, this pitted prune, dried up in its own juices, this blown volcano smothering breaths under its ashes. Don't move, don't speak, hear me. Don't speak, I'm here. Don't speak, I am. Don't speak, I hate you. This black hole sucked into itself is slowly imploding in a gaseous hurricane of hate. I'm dead. Shut up. And then finally getting into this one, I brought the sweetened version.
Thank you.
Oh, this is getting, now that, yeah, I wish I hadn't now, but I this is finally getting unmasked and back to touching. Unmasked at last. My grandchildren visit, jump out of the car, the tall, thin boy of 7 shouting, "Grandma, Grandma," leaps into my arms, wrapping his legs around my waist, squeezes my neck. I can still hold him. The younger girl, wearing a tiara in her silky blonde hair, shows me a princess doll before we hug. I hold my daughter last in a tight embrace. We hike a favorite trail by a cold trout stream, surrounded by leafy colors of yellow, orange, and rust. Hikers have big smiles and cheerful greetings that match the mood of this sunny fall day. Later, as my family leaves, we part with long, strong embraces. I sit on the front steps and watch as they snap on seatbelts. The vehicle backs up, moves forward, the windows slide down, and 3 bare arms of various lengths waggle out the windows in one, with fingers wiggling in one final goodbye wave. Hands to hold, arms to hug, and they drive away. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Next is Ray Schmolstein.
So the first couple poems I have are ones I was in Hell's Canyon, Idaho with some of my friends picking and drying fruit. And we did that mostly during the mornings and evenings, and because in the middle of the day it was too hot to do anything except sit around and write poetry. So we came up with a game. Everyone thinks of a word, and we have to get all these words to fit into one poem. It's pretty fun. Here's a poem made of the words octopus, glow, Afghanistan, incidentally, and cinnamon. When Marco Polo made his way east, dreaming of cinnamon and cloves. He had no idea what he would release, which would, incidentally, lead to me writing this poem. The spice trade, the Silk Road, Magna Carta, the Revolutionary War, humanity growing and reaching for more, more, more. Silver and slaves, plagues and masquerades, but now the fashion of the age is sweet black gold. They fought for the oil to save them from toil, and here I am in the middle, innocent, but what does that matter? My home, in the aquarium at the Kabul Zoo. I heard their bullets, rage and woe, until Afghanistan was lost to uranium-armed foe. But I care not for the whims of man. I'm smart. I know they held too much, for they only have 2 hands. But I have 8, because I am an octopus. And although I've started to glow, I'm thankful for that atom bomb, because now I'm a mutant, smart enough to write this poem. Here's one. Alfalfa, porcupine, hypothesis, occupy, tenacity. There once was a porcupine who thought he was smart as can be. He sat on a stump, very proud, pondering idly. Chewing on a stick, he straightened up and told the forest of his newest hypothesis. If a small human is scared of the small barbs on small bees, their giant machines will be terrified of the big barbs on big me. He waddled away from the trees and found a field of alfalfa to occupy and test his theory. He waited for the tractor. When it arrived, he trusted his science. He stared it down. But the tractor did not move out of the way. The machine stood its ground. So the prickly scientist found himself swaddled in a bale of hay. Silly porcupine, he makes up for his theory's lack of accuracy in his stubborn, stupid, determined tenacity. And this is one I just wrote a bit ago, thinking about the seasons. After the long winter, am I not beautiful and green? My barren branching fingers went unnoticed. Now you hold my hand. But you remember there is so much to do, and you must leave before I bloom. The shortest of seasons, the shortest of seasons. When my time has come to pass, heralded by my red and gold, pick me up, hold me, adore me, and drop me. Leave me to be buried in the grief of snow. The shortest of seasons, the shortest of seasons. Love me like the buds of springs, love me like an autumn leaf. I reach my hand through my chest. I ask, after the long winter, am I not beautiful and green? But my hand returns emptier than it was before. The buds of springs, the autumn leaves, the shortest of seasons, the shortest of seasons. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Before we get to our next person, I will take a moment and subject you all to my poem. This is called Far From Me. I read the news that John Prine died and thought of you. Do you remember those endless sunny afternoons in your second floor college apartment overlooking Main Street, far above the plebes and drudges, the 9-to-5s, drinking bottomless cups of coffee, smoking imported cigarettes or the occasional joint, discussing literature and philosophy in your drawing room with its spare white decor, a blank page full of our great expectations, waiting for your boyfriend to come back from Europe and talking about when we would go there ourselves. In the meantime, listening to something sophisticated on your turntable, The Velvet Underground and Nico, or Thelonious Monk. But I'm an Alabama small town boy, I liked it best when you played Angel from Montgomery in 9-Pound Hammer. I could pretend this is a nostalgic poem and this is the first time I've thought of you in forever. And last I heard, you were a well-respected professor in Prague with a French lover, a German sports car, and an Italian dog. But I'm pretty sure I saw you at More for Econo Foods Family Fresh a couple weeks ago. Also, our kids went to high school together. I guess this makes us the plebes, the judges, and the 9-to-5s. We never talk to each other, not really, though we only live about 9 blocks apart with just that river between us. There's a bridge I can take to your place, but it can't cross the decades to our better, brighter selves. In this pandemic time, people ask me how I'm doing. Pretty good, not bad, can't complain. Really, I'm just looking for one thing I can hold on to, because this hammer is a little too heavy, buddy, for my size. John Prine died of COVID-19 on April 7th, 2020, and we all wear masks now. But it's nothing new to me. I've been socially distant for years, and I'm always short of breath.
Come on.
And next we have Jesse.
Can I put a beat on for the second one? How much we have, like 5-10 minutes?
I'm not entirely sure how, I mean, you can, I'm not quite sure how to engage.
Oh, yeah, Bluetooth up in here?
Yeah.
Okay, can we do that? The first one's spoken word, so
Sure.
let me introduce myself. Can I grab the mic out here?
Yeah.
I'm not using the president candidate speech up in here. It's always been my fantasy to be loud in the library. My name is Jesse Whitford, I go by UK. I do spoken word rap stuff. And my first piece is Hills of Zion. And I loved all that I've heard so far. We should do this more often. Hills of Zion, men and women crying. They miss the truth, how we love to hate abuse. Youth looking for direction, this is my impression. Who leads our leaders? Who influences believers? Even in a drought, scripture says cedars grow. Oceans of love will reach below. Just as my next kin, whose name is Jesus, but he's not only Mexican, known as all skin, but more importantly, defeated sin. Some people think of him as fake and phony, but I assure you, he's nothing short of holy. Waiting on that matrimony. Oh Lord, my King, you leave your peace. Death has something in common with wrestling. It has no sting. Satan got DDT in the ring. I stand all that I am. The one who plans, understands, comprehends my pain. If I didn't struggle, it'd be like saying you died in vain. But the vine is ripe for the taking. Me and Daddy are not decided, we tight. Children of God help make me an apostle. Jesus dug me out of the dirt like a fossil. The fact that he even stands at my door is colossal. That's the first one.
You got your phone on?
Yeah, I got my phone. Let's see if I can figure this out.
D58, you go to your Bluetooth.
Is this yours? Are you bringing this as a public speaker, man? That's awesome. Is this yours or
No, that's the library.
That's the library speaker, but
what is it under D? Let me see if I can.
Yeah.
Please be careful with that equipment.
D. I had side ties earlier. D. What is it under?
It's like, it should be in, when you scan for devices, like all the way at the bottom.
I think I turned it off.
Oh, yeah, if it should have the 3 lights and not blue blinking light. I'm not connected to it. See. You should be able to find it.
Thank you. There it is. We got it. Thank you.
all right.
Thank you. So this is called Ghost, and it was dedicated to my friend. My friend passed away. But there for the pandemic, his close friend, and that was a big part of it. And yeah, here we go. Let's get into the beat here. Let's get it. Yes, sir. Let's go to the beat itself. Here it is. I'll play from here. It's fine. Yeah. Waking up just to survive. No one is alive. In dreams I strive because my best friend died. Just so I may know, I'm grateful for his flow. UK on the microphone. Always you. You are the flame, I am the vessel. God provides a roast, and no one stop this ghost. You are the flame, I am the vessel. God provides a roast, and no one stop this ghost. This ghost. You are the flame, I am the vessel. God provides a roast, and no one stop this ghost. Verse 2. All alone. All alone, I'm scared. My parents aren't heard. If only I heard about the one who served, who does more than mere, sick of living in fear. It's just a disease. We need the cure. I live as a zombie. Wish you would adopt me. I ran long enough. Someone called Big Poppy. Always tight, never sloppy. I know you got me. You are the flame. I'm the vessel. God provides a roast, and no one will stop this ghost. You are the flame, I am the vessel. God provides a roast, and no one stop this ghost, this ghost, this ghost. You are the flame, I am the vessel. God provides a roast, and no one stop this ghost. Third day. Third day set free. Your boy bleeds literally. Hence the lyrics you see. Talking to God a must. Beware the sword thrust. Not talking about lust. Call me a freak, I just can't get enough. I love how your boo just threw himself under the bus just to have an open-ended relationship with us. Dios mío, I just can't get enough. The last part goes into the last suck is together flame. So we do one more. It's called Shown, and it's going in, I'm broken as my baby comes out. No one's showing up for events. Getting high and live my own event. Shame only resents. Haven't sent, yet hellbound. Nuts about women, payday needs smiles. My anger and hate outweighs my pounds. DK, my fist hits the ground. Blood in my eyes and my so-called family nowhere to be found. Jesus, are you really around? You really got your boy now? And then he goes out, and I can show you. Second verse of converse, daddy erased a curse. BFF with the man who drives my hearse. Shows up since birth. So what's my worth? More than what door can explore. More than any group's encore. I'm a fiend, I just want you more. Your love is my core, and all I had to do was open my door. Lord, have your way. Lay me out on your floor. I just want you more. Third day was getting even worse until he lays my demons in the dirt. So your boy doesn't hurt. Tighter than a size 0 skirt. The only reason I exist because he lives. Breath coming down for an ad-lib. Breath steadily flipping lids. The ghost isn't lazy. UK is showing, and this be my baby. Death is no longer my lady. Shame will always try to play me. However, you cannot stop the one that shows up on the daily. That's it. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
All right, well, I think that's about everyone who wanted to perform tonight. So I'd like to thank everybody for coming out, and especially those of you who performed something for us. We will plan on hosting another open mic event during National Poetry Month in April of 2022. I think we're thinking April 7th, but it'll be on our website. And just a couple announcements coming up on Monday, November 15th. We've got the next in our sustainability series, water, energy, and industry. And then on Thursday, November 18th, we have author Matt Goldman, who is a Minnesota mystery author, if I remember correctly. So in closing, I'd like to do a poem about the 1592 London Plague, which was written by Thomas Nash, who was a playwright and contemporary of William Shakespeare. And this is called Adieu, Farewell, Earth's Bliss. Adieu, farewell, earth's bliss, this world uncertain is. Fond are life's lustful joys, death proves them all but toys. None from his darts can fly. I am sick, I must die. Lord, have mercy on us. Rich men trust not in wealth, gold cannot buy you health. Physic himself must fade, all things to end are made. The plague full swift goes by, I am sick, I must die. Lord, have mercy on us. Beauty is but a flower, which wrinkles will devour. Brightness falls from the air, queens have died young and fair. Dust hath closed Helen's eye, I am sick, I must die. Lord, have mercy on us. Strength stoops unto the grave, worms feed on Hector brave. Swords may not fight with fate, earth still holds open her gate. Come, come, the bells do cry, for I am sick, I must die. Lord, have mercy on us. Wit with his wantonness tasteth death's bitterness. Hell's executioner hath no ears for to hear what vain art can reply. I am sick, I must die. Lord, have mercy on us. Haste, therefore, each degree to welcome destiny. Heaven is our heritage, earth but a player's stage. Mount we unto the sky. I am sick, I must die. Lord, have mercy on us. Thank you.